One fine winter evening while Googling my favorite film Top Gun, I stumbled across what I only thought was a typo from someone online. See, it was a film named Top Gunner.
What do you mean, Peter?
There is a production company that exists that makes these things called mockbusters. That, well, basically their whole MO is to completely rip off blockbusters. Instead of Top Gun, we got Top Gunner. Instead of Speed Racer, they make Street Racer. 40-year-old virgin? Nah, man, 18-year-old virgin. Transformers? Transmorphers. Snakes on a train, Alien vs. Hunter, the list is endless, and now my life has purpose. Coming back to the film Top Gunner, its only purpose is to seemingly prey on people either misreading the title or mistyping the words Top Gun. I watched it, and now I can see why it's a 2 out of 10 on IMDb. Have a look at the opening shot of the Top Gun Maverick trailer, and now the opening shot of Top Gunner. This is just a dollar store Hollywood production, and look, I'm here for it. It starts off in snowy Baja, California, where two obscure men are trading a secret box, but they both get sniped. A Marine goes to pick up the box, but he gets shot. He's bleeding, but he seems fine, and they escape on a CGI jet. We then get shown a discount Danger Zone intro, except there's no fun song, and the majority of the footage is either bad CGI or stock footage. There are a lot of parallels to the Top Gun Maverick trailer already. We got a rip-off of the establishing shots, the jets, and even the football. But instead of sexy, sweaty beach football, we get gross, bland cow paddock football. It's a strange choice. It's clear, too, that they can only afford to shoot in a total of around 3 locations that are either on or around an airfield. In one specific location of the snow or in a warehouse. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this stars Eric Roberts. You might know him as the brother of Julia Roberts! Also, he was Salvatore Maroni in The Dark Knight, one of the greatest movies of all time, and I can only guess that his stardom only skyrocketed since then. So I guess he's the boss for 4 Air Force trainees who seem to be the only people here at this airbase, and look, I guess they couldn't afford to film in an air tower because Eric Roberts watches the entire flight training sequences, apparently from his binoculars, the entire time. The trainees do their flight training, and of course, they need the single female pilot to blow the male pilots a kiss. I don't know, it's a free country, I guess. It's just a weird choice. So their flying makes Eric mad.
Damn it! Knock that off!
Upon landing, they spend an entire minute of footage walking to Eric Roberts, who I now know as Herring, while he waits, only for him to walk away once they arrive. Herring's mad. Why? Unclear. But what is clear is this film does its best to pad out the runtime to 80 minutes in order to be considered a feature film. They do everything to pad this runtime out, including having one of the pilots out of nowhere give a sob story.
My father left when I was 12.
I don't like you.
Plus, Eric Roberts seems to be pissed the entire film, which makes this all the more enjoyable. He's clearly phoning this entire performance in. After their flight training, they're told they're not allowed to leave the base over the holidays. But while they're flight training, in lands the folks from the intro of the movie, the special op agents, we'll call them that. Their plane's about to crash, which isn't their fault. The pilot fell asleep, only to find out that he actually got shot and a bullet hit him, even though all the others on board didn't notice at the time at all. I mean, sure, let's go with that, but they also need an excuse to land this plane anyways. Their shitty-looking high-tech plane crash lands on the base where the trainees are, but the pilot dies in the process. The package they stole is called the CRISPR, and Herring explains it as if everyone knows what it is.
Have you heard of CRISPR? Yeah, gene editing compound alters and disrupts DNA. Correct.
But this one was used by the Russian government to engineer a deadly airborne pathogen to quell terrorist factions unless they can get a vaccine in time. I mean, it is on brand. This film did come out in the year of our Lord 2020. They got less than 13 hours to develop a vaccine, so it's about to get interesting. One of the trainees compromises their location by calling his sister, and that immediately gets traced by the Russian government. That then immediately gets found out by the special ops in the military. The trainees get informed that the special ops team that crash landed on their base are actually terrorists.
Fortunately, in the court of international law, our actions to date will be considered terrorism.
What? But they're American, so they're actually the good guys.
Fuck Bud Light.
And they need to protect the CRISPR in order to not let it get in Russian hands. Even better, while they have hours before the CRISPR becomes unstable, they have time to be trained on how to shoot rifles, and then we get this weird, uncanny voiceover.
I don't mind the idea of having 3 pilots available for the FA-18 Hornets. Diversion as an attack using the FA-18 Hornets.
It's abundantly clear that that was one of those, we'll fix it in post lines. But a Russian militia come along to raid the airstrip and take it back. The cadets take on the PS-2 helicopters and an Su-47, where one pilot kamikazes into the enemy, while the other, in no apparent danger at all, ejects out of her jet, thus destroying all the planes that they have. Thankfully, the dogfight took place right over their airstrip the entire time, so they didn't have to walk too far. Without any planes in the Valkyrie under repair, their only choice to defeat the Russians is to go back to the snow in the exact location from the start of this film, which is apparently just down the road from the airbase, but also took the veteran military a whole overnight flight to reach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why are you scared? One of the cadets asks a pretty simple question.
Why not just stay at the base instead of freezing our asses off?
Damn it!
Well, idiot, that's because they already paid to film in the snow for the day, so they might as well use it. What, have you never heard of a budget before?
It's airborne.
That sounds serious.
It is, if we don't get it back to the lab in time for them to develop a vaccine.
We're less than 10 hours away from losing containment.
So let me straighten this out. While they arrived, they had 13 hours before the CRISPR became unstable. After going to sleep, learning to use guns, dogfights with Russian pilots, and trudging through a snow desert, they did all of that in 3 hours? Perfect. So they fight in the snow with the Russians. Jesus Christ. And they're supposed to be the good guys. During the battle, the sniper dies. Back at the airbase, the cadet mechanic fixes a $1 billion jet via hot wiring it. But right as he does so, the Russians arrive. They spend a whole half a minute of the mechanic looking up and down remorsefully, revealing he's wearing a suicide vest and is captured by the Russians. The Russian leader also appears to be the only guy who can remotely do a half-baked Russian accent.
Please, lower your weapon.
But they've got all of our guys held up. Russian snipers shoot both the special ops team, including the leader. One of them dies straight away, but the leader has enough time to set off, I think, a landmine. I don't really know. But they managed to escape being held captive, even though snipers were aiming at them the entire time. I mean, who knows at this point? But the main Russian villain gets away on a helicopter, and the only way to chase down is in a crappy CGI, blacked out windows because we couldn't afford backgrounds for this jet. They have to take the helicopter down without destroying the CRISPR, so they fire at the tail and hit it, but the helicopter crashes. How do we know it crashes? Well, we see it on the TV screen, of course. Damn it! Turns out the CRISPR and the Russian guy are fine, but it leads to a foot race between one of the cadets and the Russian, who at this point appears to be completely mutated. Seems like they had budget for makeup at this point. They're back at the same snow desert spot again, and the Russian guy dies. Only he gets back up for one last fight, and then the cadet easily gets the upper hand and murders him. The cadet takes back the CRISPR, and they return to base in time for the lab boys to develop a vaccine.
Could we technically say that we saved the whole world?
I mean, sure, if it helps you sleep at night. We end the film with a long and meandering narration by Eric Roberts, who talks about murdering people.
It's another thing entirely to look your enemy in the eye, to see the life drain from them.
And then credits roll. This is probably the worst military film I've seen so far. The two best bits are when they have to cut away from the special ops guy talking about
Available for the FA-18 Hornets. An attack using the FA-18 Hornets.
they clearly had to record that in post only for him to record off what appears to be like his MacBook Pro or something. Apart from that, from the bad CGI to Eric Roberts completely phoning it in to the grand total of 5 locations that they filmed in, this thing sucks. Most of the runtime is dedicated to padding it out to be 80 minutes to fit the guidelines of a feature film. It was as if they saw the trailer for Top Gun Maverick and thought, how shit can we make this? And then did it within a few months. But Top Gunner made clear attempts to capitalize on the theatrical release of Top Gun Maverick, only for Top Gun Maverick to be delayed in the pandemic. So they went, oh, fuck it, and they released it in 2020. And then I dug a little deeper and found out they did in fact try to capitalize on the Top Gun Maverick release by putting out a sequel to Top Gunner in 2022 called Top Gunner Danger Zone. Fuck!